Hey, Pearsall members, happy December. The tarot card for this month is the Magician. And I really love this card because it's a constant reminder to me every time I see it to evaluate the connection between my body and soul. On the positive side, the Magician has aligned his ego with divine consciousness, kind of meshed the ego self with the spiritual self, which ultimately leads us to losing the ego self and then filling our ego self with the consciousness of our spirit or the divine consciousness. The infinity sign above the magician's head symbolizes eternal life because it merges the spiritual world with the physical world. It's the power of love, really, that allows the magician to control the physical world. And you can see that see if you can see all the symbols on the table in front of him, that really is something that lets us know that he has power, divine power to succeed, that he has all of the tools that he needs for his future endeavors. And I really like that about this tarot card because it reminds us of our power. It reminds us that when we blend the ego self with the spirit self and take action in our life that is based on the inner prompting of our divine consciousness, we tend to succeed. Good things happen. We align ourselves with the correct vibration. The magician's white robe symbolizes the spiritual purpose. So basically, the character in this card is wearing his soul purpose as his presentation to the world around him. Like his soul comes through as the dominant self. His red robe kind of tells about the work that he's doing and that it is an act of love because he's giving the deepest part of himself in his passion and in his work. So there's a harmony that exists then between the body and the soul. Basically, this really tells us to keep your ego in check because that's what the magician has done. What I like about the magician is that he'll do all the work that he needs to do to succeed. So, motivation and determination and discipline is a huge part of this card. If you'll notice that the background of the card is yellow, which is really connecting us to our solar plexus energy, saying that we have to kind of make those promises to ourselves and live up to the things that we are prompted to do and that we promise ourselves that we're going to be doing. The Magician Tarot card is a card symbolizing personal power and the ability to influence the material world, sometimes in really uncanny ways. And you may notice unintentional manifestations happening as well. So, like, for example, this happened to me one time. I'm sitting in the kitchen and I was doing my work, and then I got thirsty and I thought, oh, I'm thirsty. That's all I thought. Oh, I'm thirsty. And a little while later, my daughter came up and she's like, Mom, you want a Diet Coke? And I was like, oh, wow, that's weird. And so these little synchronicities happen. Sometimes just the energy that we send out speaks to another person. And so we're able to manifest things in our life by connecting to that unintentional desire. And where does that come from? Comes from the union between the body and the soul. So practice the union of the body and soul, and your unintentional desires will be manifested because the universe will hear you. So what I like also is that the magician takes this very seriously, this unintentional manifestation, this ability to succeed, this connection between the body and the soul, the masculine and the feminine, the human and divine consciousness. And the magician knows that this is a gift, that this is something that comes from creator or God or source, and that the magician is just the channel that all of this energy is flowing through. So being perfectly at peace with who you are and also at peace with your purpose in life, that's what really gets you to the end goal. It gets you to um, kind of land where your destiny has intended you to land. It's just that doing it this way, you get there a lot easier and you stop sabotaging yourself, which is what we typically do. Now, all of that is very positive information. But on the negative side, the magician could be telling you that you are not in touch with your inner power. um, that it might be trying to warn you that you're about to self sabotage and you can't do that. And that it might also be explaining that you're not tapping into that inner power or that inner truth. And so you could potentially be selling yourself short. And then when you do that, insecurities can come up at any stage of development, but creating feelings of profound hurt and separation from yourself. And so if you kind of feel like you're not connected to yourself, that would be the negative side of the magician, the side that talks about not being balanced and not being in harmony with yourself. So, if your ego is not aligned with your divine purpose or with your spirit self, you can mistake people in your life as aggressors instead of mentors or protectors. And that can make things a little devastating. So, just kind of in summary, on the positive side, the Magician Tarot is telling you that you have a perfect, beautiful balance between the body and the soul, that you're in harmony with the divine consciousness, and that your ego self now is a description or a display or a sharing experience with your soul flowing through the body. And the ego, human conditioned self, is not in control of you anymore. This is awesome. Now, if you're on the negative side of the magician, then you might really want to try to listen to that inner voice and try to self reflect and figure out where is this separation happening within yourself, because your goal is to bring both the masculine and feminine energy into balance, and also the body and the soul, and kind of try to talk yourself out of your own triggers, and that will put you right in line to come back to being the magician in your own life.